So now that we have our lines all taken off, we have our banjo bolt on there. So if you take a look, I know it's a little bit hard to see. Again, guys, it's really tight down here for me, but right there. So there's our banjo bolt. So we have our bolt, and then we have a washer on the outside and a washer on the inside. But just to make it a little bit more easier for you guys, I'm just trying to find, here it is. This is your part number for it, right there. So a -8 banjo, it's an M14, a 1.5 thread, and 11534. That is our banjo bolt for our low pressure side. Now, the high pressure side, again, I don't know if they can handle the pressure, so I'm actually going to take the high pressure line off and take it to an actual fluid shop or hydraulic shop that can probably make me the lines that I need. But again, so here it is. I know it's already in there, but yeah, it's just a nice banjo, and up here it's got a -6. So we'll see if I can actually, or sorry, -8, so I can get back in there. But yeah, you can kind of see, kind of have an idea. Yeah, now that that's in, I'm gonna grab the braided line, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put, the 120-degree end fitting right here. That way it kind of comes down and runs the same line along the sway bar. Just have to tighten this up. Be careful, guys, when you tighten this, because this is, it's a banjo bolt, so there's nothing inside. If you look in, sorry, that one right there, you can see how it's all hollowed in the center, so don't go crazy tight because you don't want to break it. So with our banjo bolt nice and tight now, guys, yeah, really tight to get in there, as you guys can see. But yeah, so now we're on to starting the routing of our lines, which I mean is arguably probably the best experience you could ever do with a car, is putting these things together. But yeah, so we have a 21-208. Again, this is a -8. It's 120 degrees, so just over 90. And again, I was going to originally do a 90 off the banjo bolt, but I didn't want to stress the line out too much, so I did 120 degrees. Should be enough to do what we need, and then that will allow a nice, easy flowing routing, sorry, for yeah, our braided lines. Again, this is 10 feet, should be more than enough, but I wanted a little bit of extra for going up into the actual engine bay. So yeah, just gonna kind of take these things off here, and you guys can watch some of the other videos on how to put these on, but pretty basic. I'll kind of just show you as we go again. But yeah, 120 degrees with 10 feet of -8 braided line should be more than what we need. Let's get to it. Again, guys, with the fittings, pretty basic. Take off the end part here at the bottom. There's a lot of threads. So you have this section right here. You're gonna hit this little cap off, keep the cap, you know what I mean, you could use it for something else in the future. And then you have this section right here. We're going to take the tape off. Be very careful with that, you don't want this to fray. And then we're going to slide this thing down like that, and then bring it up. Make sure that the line is flush just to the inside here where the threads end, and then you're going to push this in, tighten everything back up. It is a huge pain, guys, but I mean, in the long run, it just makes changing lines out so much easier. So yeah, let me get this together, and then I'll bring you guys back in. So here's our first line right here, guys. Again, this is all 10 feet with the 120 at the end. So now I'm gonna mount it up on that banjo, and then we're gonna run it the way that I think is gonna be the easiest and most effective way of running it, down around on the subframe here. Again, I'm going to use one of those clips for the 13 mil bolt that I took off over there, and then I think what we're going to do is kind of zip tie it to the boost pipe, and we're going to come out again over here just underneath this section right here to the 90. So I'll have to put a 90 right there, and we'll kind of go through just beside the intercooler. But yeah, let's get underneath the car here. So here's our routing here, guys, for the low pressure, again running from the rack to the cooler. So again, this 120 here is absolutely perfect. for what I actually needed to do. I'm so happy I went with that and not the 90. I mean, a little bit more angle would be nice too, but again, we're gonna run down again underneath the heat shield here. Right here, I'm gonna have to put on that clip if I leave myself enough slack, and then from there we're gonna go up over the axle shaft here. That was one of the biggest dilemmas I had, was trying to do this without having this thing wrap around the shaft. And then you can see we kind of go from right here, so over the shaft, and I kind of had to grind this plastic cover here just a little bit, and then we're going to zip tie it to the boost pipe and then run underneath straight out. I mean, it is going to get a little bit of moisture and stuff on it from just driving around, but it's just the way it is, unfortunately. And then again, we're going to come out right here at our cooler, so I'm going to have to cut here, do my 90 from here, and that way we're coming right off the rack with all the hot power steering fluid going right into our cooler, up and out, and then back into our reservoir. So yeah, I'm gonna have to make the cut here. And again, you know what I mean, this is the best thing I can think about right now for being a track car and not much of a daily. Could you guys do it nicer than me? Most likely in some aspects, but yeah, this is what we're rocking with as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I'm just gonna take this out now and do my 90 cut, make sure it's all measured up, and then I'll be able to at least mount that on the car today. So just prepping the line here. Again, a little bit of extra insulation just around the exhaust and the intercooler area. Oh man, I need to get a hoist so bad. But yeah, so there we go, there's that. Couple zip ties, there's the 90 right there. And then for this piece, again, shaped it down just a little bit with a file, and now we're ready to kind of run it over. I did end up taking part of the boost pipe out, that way it was a little bit easier to route it. But now that yeah, now that I have the insulation on, I can kind of loop it on over and attach it there, and then put this thing back on, and then kind of zip tie on my way back, and we'll be done at least for this low pressure line on this side. Whew, there we go. So again, guys, this is the 5, this is the 120 degree right there, vibrant fitting, and then we're running right along the subframe. Just a little zip tie just to kind of keep it away from the exhaust while keeping the shield, and then put another clip on here, and then some extra insulation just for the heat. Yeah, insulation was a little big, end up having to take off that gold boost pipe right there, but we got it all figured out. And then again, keeping the shield as much as we can here, and then we're rolling right on the other side right there, and then out. Little zip tie again against the pancake pipe. I mean, if I do ever go with the front mount, then, you know, I mean, this is gonna be all gone, but at least yeah, at least what's it called, I'll be able to have this power steering line here still. And then we roll out to the 90 right there. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna get underneath, or sorry, out from underneath this car, because I am getting claustrophobic in here. And yeah, I'm gonna take a break just because this is taking me quite a while. But the next clip, I'll bring you guys back in again, and we're gonna continue again from our cooler all the way up into our reservoir, and then down here to where the actual pump is. Continue on here again, guys, with our power steering lines, as well as doing the fuel lines while we're at it. So right now I'm going to take the opportunity, do our top fuel lines here. Again, you're going to need these quick connects. These are 5/16 quick connect to a -6 AN, and we have our line. So these lines I had on the Camaro, I think I stated that earlier, but yeah, pretty basic, guys. Going to run a 90 here off of that, like so, and then we'll have a 90 right there, and then I have this -6 to 5/16 AN. We're just going to use a little bit of rubber line in between to connect them. Again, you guys can go out and get an actual like nice fuel rail. I think 34 Motorsports or Integrated Engineering, I think it is. I think they have one too as well, where you don't have to worry about the rubber line and stuff like that. You can just thread it right in with the AN fitting. But yeah, for now, I'm just going to do that. It's just a little bit cleaner, as well as preventing of the cracking. This coolant line is actually in pretty good shape, so I'm not going to worry about that again until we do the coolant ball delete. Maybe next year. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I got my mark here. Gonna cut this up right now and put that 90 on. Then once we get these lines going, guys, probably take the vacuum all this crap up. Obviously you guys can see that I took out the windshield washer fluid reservoir. We're not going to worry about it on this car. Again, if you really want one, you can make one out of like ABS pipe and stick the pump into the bottom of it, and you can kind of tuck it away somewhere else or whatever. But yeah, just given with the track nature of the car, we're gonna probably just do the old Rate X trick there. So yeah, let me cut this up right now, get the dash 6 on there, the 90, and then that'll take care of our supply line going to the bottom one right here that goes into our injectors. And here's our line, guys. Again, another 90. I know this is vibrant. These fittings are unbelievable. I love them so much so far. Knock on wood, they've been unreal to use. The red and blue, again, very traditional. The Russell fittings right here, again, I bought them for the old project. And then we have another vibrant 5/16 barb, but again, you can see what our setup is going to be now. And then right here, just had a couple of these kicking around. This is mainly just a box full of random stuff, but I got some cutoffs of some 5/16 line. Remember, guys, you want to make sure that is fuel injection hose, not just fuel line, fuel injection hose. You want to make sure that these can handle the pressure. This is the return line. I'm not sure how much pressure that's actually going to be, but again, you just want to make sure that you have that, as well as some quality clamps. So I'm going to take off my little vacuum plug here, and then we're going to yeah, we're gonna, what's it called, put the line on and make sure everything fits okay. We want to make sure that it's not rubbing against anything, so try to keep it underneath the coolant line and it's not up against, in the timing cover, stuff like that. But these things are pretty sturdy as they are. So yeah, let's get to it. There's our first one, looking good. Again, make sure you guys use some like proper clamps. These things are the clamps that come with these little cutouts. Again, this is from a fuel filter, so yeah, it should be okay for what it is. But just be careful, guys. Make sure you want good quality clamps. Make sure they're clamped on the right spot. And again, before we do any sort of moving, stuff like that, we're gonna make sure that when this thing primes up, there's no major leaks. But yeah, there you go. We have another one here. I'm gonna have to cut it and work around with it and figure out which the best way this is going to work. So let me just work on that, and then I'll bring you guys back in. Yes, guys, there we go. So there's our fuel lines. Again, kind of wish I would have went with the Russell fitting here, but just with everything I had kicking, looks pretty good. And again, a lot more space here. I'm not too worried about everything being all kind of crammed together. But yeah, so kind of funky, but we have our supply line right here that goes to the bottom, but it's the higher one over here, and then this one goes underneath is our return line. So those are now done. And then again, guys, if you look down there, you can't really see. Let me get my phone for you. There we go. So you look down there, there's our power steering line, the one that we did. That goes to the front right here. Right there, guys. So that one's done. So now what we're gonna do, again, it's getting really dark, so I'm probably gonna do this in the next clip, but yeah, this one right here, if you take a look right there, we're gonna have to run from that into our Mishimoto can right here at the bottom, and then we're gonna come off the can. I know this is kind of in the way right now, but we're gonna come off the can here, and then I have a bunch of adapters to go from the dash 8 to a dash 10 to a 5/8, all that stuff for our rubber line. So again, guys, I know this video is kind of choppy in parts, but just stay tuned with it, and I'll bring you guys back in when we get going on these lines. So guys, again, it's the next day here, just finishing up our power steering lines again for the low pressure side. Here we go. So again, we got the 90 from Vibrant sitting on our canister, Mishimoto canister. You can already see I have my line for where I have to cut this dash 8 line here, and we're just going to run it similar to what we did with the oil cooler, right from the end of the oil cooler up and around the intercooler, again with the braided line. Helps out being nice and sturdy. And then we're going to go into the canister right here. So right now I'm going to make that cut, and then once we're done that, we're going to do all our adapters. So again, from the dash 8 to the dash 10 to the 5/8 for the hose. Still going to figure out how I'm going to do the hose, but most likely probably just take off that clip right there and then make a cut, and then that way at least I can keep the stock hose on there, which is in good shape, and I will take care of our low pressure side. So yeah, I'm going to take this hose out right now, give that a cut right there, put on the end fitting, the 90-degree end fitting, and then a couple more steps and we'll be done the low pressure side. There you go. Up and over and around and into our 90. Again, I'm gonna have to fix this just a wee bit just so it sits a little bit better. But yeah, so now again, this is the line that's going to replace the line that comes to here. If you remember, we went from the rack at the bottom there, which originally comes up to here, but instead we're going to use that one down to the cooler and then up into the reservoir. So we're putting the cooler technically in between the steering rack and this reservoir. That is our goal for this whole power steering cooler setup. But yeah, so now what we're going to do, again, if you guys go out and buy a proper reservoir that has the actual 5/8 either barb on it, I mean, you can use custom ones or whatever, as long as it has like some sort of MPT3 or MPT thread, then you can do it. But for us, we're going to be going from a dash 8 to the dash 10, and all we're going to do here is just use this union right here, 90 degrees, and then we're going to jump it up to a dash 10 and into the 5/8. So let me get that together and I'll show you. Here's our adapter. I mean, definitely not the prettiest, but again, we're in the dash 8, now up to the dash 10 right here and into the 5/8. So now what we're going to do, guys, take this line off right here off the old power steering reservoir and just cut it to fit, put a nice fitting on it, and then that will take care of our low pressure side. So quickly going to do that and then probably end the video here before heading on to any of the other stuff. But yeah, let's get that done, take a good look at everything again, and then that way you guys are all up to speed with everything as far as the low pressure side on this Mark IV. Finally done here, guys, with the power steering as far as the cooling goes on the low pressure side. And again, it's not the prettiest, but it definitely should be functional, hopefully. Let's just do a quick recap again. We'll be coming off the pump, high pressure, on the hard line, down and around the bottom. We're going to be replacing that, hopefully sooner than later, into the rack. Out of the rack with our 120-degree vibrant fitting, our dash 8, around the subframe. The boost pipe, as you can see down there, along the bottom here into the cooler, out of the cooler back into the reservoir with our 90-degree dash 8 vibrant fitting here as well. Coming out of it, a little bit of chaos going on here as we go from dash 8 to dash 10 to 5/8 and back into the pump. So yeah, hopefully it works out. I assume that it will, and again, we'll do the high pressure line when we can. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching this video for sure. Definitely a lot of work, a lot of thinking, and a lot of man hours, especially when you don't have much to work with space. So apologize for all the cuts in and out with the different days, but it's just the way it is with time and whatnot. But yeah, we're getting there. We got to get the turbo replaced. I think we're just going to go to Das Parts for that one, and then we're off to Adrena as well with our camber plates, which you guys will see the video with that, and get our fitment dialed in, and then we should be good to go for the track. So yeah, in the meantime, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, don't forget Max Tech Motorsports on Instagram. I'm going to keep all these packages from Vibrant so you guys can have all the part numbers. If you guys want to do a similar setup like this, or if you have a different way you want to route everything, it's totally up to you. But feel free to follow me on there. And again, like and subscribe, comment on the video as always. I look forward to hearing all you guys' comments. So but yeah, I'm spent. You guys got a good view of the new figure 8 car. We'll have a video with that as well. But take care, guys. Be safe. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.